New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
All right. I haven't played that sounder for a while. Well, good evening, everyone, from across the United States and also from around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled throwback. And yes, always guaranteed exciting edition of the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus. I am speaking to you live this evening from the extremely secure concrete bunker located somewhere around Akron, Ohio. From the top secret radio room surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts. That is so top secret that only one person knows the location of the concrete bunker. No one else, especially the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, my boss here at the New Thought Media Network, especially he does not know where the concrete bunker is located. And we're going to keep it that way. It gives me a good place to hide when he wants to yell at me. Well, hi there. Good evening. Welcome to everyone. We have a wonderful show for you this evening. Good to see everyone tonight. Please feel free to interact with us tonight in the comments. Either on Facebook or on YouTube. And for all my shy people out there, again, I know you're out there and you don't want to comment, but you may want to send me a line or two or three or four. Pastor Michael Mangus at gmail.com. Pastor Michael Mangus at gmail.com. I read those during the week, not during the show, but I get to your mail during the week. Pastor Michael Mangus at gmail.com. Let me know what you think about the show, especially all the good comments. We like those. The purpose of our Friday evening Fireside Chat is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought / spiritual perspective. And as I keep saying week after week, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on around us. And again, that the views and opinions expressed are those of myself or my guests. They're not of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, of which I'm licensed to, any one of our contributors, our show hosts, anyone else, living or dead. It's not their opinion. Okay? It is just our opinion. But I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on around us and how we can play a part in bringing about a world that does work for everyone. So this evening, waiting in our green room over in our Palm Springs, California green room, We are so pleased to have as our special guest tonight, the Reverend Dr. Ambassador Prince Fleet Easton. Prince has been on our show before, and it was highly suggested by the program gurus here at the New Thought Media Network. They went ahead and they wrote me a note, and they said, it would be nice once in a while if you brought some class and dignity to your program. I said, I can't think of a better person that can do that is Prince Fleet Easton. And also, the boss likes you, Prince. Yes, I said, yes. I told Robert this week, I said, during our meeting, I said, Prince is going to be on my show. He says, good. I really like him. So Prince has had a varied career as an actor, singer, worship leader, dancer, humanitarian, among other things. The Prince of all media. The Prince of all media. The Prince Fleet Easton will be our special guest shortly here on the Friday evening Fireside Chat. We are so honored to have royalty this evening. I wonder if programming will yell at me. They'll say, well, and I'll tell them, listen, I've tried, but you can't get any better than Prince Fleet Easton, can you? Okay. And he's also from Akron. Yes. Yes. Some things good comes out of Akron, Ohio. Right. Well, Happy New Year. Happy New You to all of those who are watching this evening. From all of us here at the New Thought Media Network, may your 2025 be your best year yet. And if you are watching our programs here on the New Thought Media Network, you will have all kinds of ways in which you can improve your life. We're up to well over 45 hours a week of original programming from all kinds of ministers, practitioners, healers, coaches, all to bring forth the best in you. So again, if you miss any of our programs, or if you want to see what's on our network, just go to our YouTube page, and that's New Thought Media Network, or to go to ntmedia.org. ntmedia.org has a full, complete schedule. We're not going to have much serious news this evening. We may have one or two kind of fun things, but the serious news we're going to leave for the Reverend Jeff Ratcliffe, who will be back with us here next week. But there are two things we do want to mention. The first one is the passing of former President Jimmy Carter at the age of 100. President Carter's life was one of service and demonstrating really what it meant to live out a life of faith and also a Christian life. And this is from the Religious News Network. Jimmy Carter, who died on Sunday, December 29th at the age of 100, was known as the 39th President of the United States, but he will also be remembered as the world's most famous Sunday school teacher. Carter, who spoke openly about his Baptist faith while campaigning for the White House in 1976, earned the votes of many evangelical Christians when he called himself born again. Carter died at his home in Plains, Georgia, surrounded by family. Chip Carter said, "My father was a hero not only to me, but to everyone who believed in peace, human rights, and unselfish love. My brothers, sister, and I shared him with the rest of the world through these common beliefs." After leaving the White House in 1981, Carter spent decades as a humanitarian and an advocate for peace, building homes with Habitat for Humanity, monitoring elections in dozens of countries, and helping fight against worm disease. Still, more Sundays than not, the former president had a regular appointment teaching Sunday school at his rural Georgia Baptist Church, Maranatha Baptist Church. Posted his schedule on its website listing the dates that he would be there to teach. It included frequently asked questions about the do's and don'ts of a visit to the church in Plains. Yes, pictures could be taken at the end of the worship service with Carter and his wife, Rosalind. And no, the Carters do not give autographs at church. Now, I'm wondering if Prince Fleet Easton gives autographs at church. Do you, Prince? Do you give autographs at church? No, you don't? Oh, you charge money for them. Okay. Now, does the church get a split of it? From the green room, Prince is saying no. He says he may tithe off of it 10%, but he doesn't give them the full amount. It was sad to hear the news about Jimmy Carter. And again, he was a real example of what it meant to live a life of faith, to live a life that was guided by faith, and also what it meant to really to give of oneself in service to the world. So again, well done, thou good and faithful servant. You did a fine job. Rest in peace, Jimmy Carter. Our second news story, which we're not going to mention much about tonight, but we do want to at least acknowledge it here, was the New Year attacks on New Orleans and also Las Vegas. Jeff and I will probably have more about it next week. More details are coming in. The Las Vegas attacker, who was an active military man, has a local link here in Summit County. That's where I live. He owns property in Cuyahoga Falls, which is a little north of the North Hill area where I'm at, that is inhabited by his mother. Our prayers and light for comfort and peace go to all those afflicted by these attacks. And it's just not one of those things where I'm saying, okay, let's just send good thoughts and prayers. I really do believe that us of an awakened consciousness, that our prayers do matter, that our prayers of peace and comfort in matters like these really make a big difference. And the whole idea of us, again, sending light, us being light workers, being here at this time, really to bring about the evolution of the planet. So our love and light in those situations really does make a big difference. Now, that does not mean that we don't do anything about social justice issues and things that are going on in the world that really need voices to speak up about them. Usually we hear the term thoughts and prayers when there's another school shooting. No, we're talking about, again, us adding our light to very difficult situations, and that our light making a huge difference in the lives of those who have found their life to be a little difficult at that moment. All right? Okay. Well, good evening. Welcome. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am the Reverend Michael Mangus, and it is my great honor to present to you this evening, all the way from our remote studios in Palm Springs, California. Hold on here. We have to get appropriate music here. Hold on here, ladies and gentlemen, as he produces the show. Prince Fleet Easton was born in Akron, Ohio, where he made his singing debut at the age of 5 with the local orchestra. He has done so many things that it takes up to 5 pages and it would take probably until midnight tonight for me reading all this stuff. But he is he lived in Akron, Ohio at one time. He was the national artistic roller skating champion, studied at the American Ballet, has done theater, movies, television, podcasts, you name it. And this year, he was named ambassador. You go to my notes here. He was named ambassador to the new state of Berlin in Africa, and he is also their official anthem singer for the country. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prince of all media, the Prince of Palm Springs, the Reverend Dr. Ambassador Prince Lee Easton.
I'm honored to be here with you this evening. I send blessings from the royal family.
You see, I've been waiting to play that all week long.
I love it.
I said, what can I greet Prince with? And I said, oh, I gotta get the song is called The Great Gate of Kiev. But Prince told me that that's in his writer, is every time that he appears, this has to play.
As I walk in, they play it.
You see the man with his royal crown. Prince, good evening to you. How have you been?
I have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael and Robert, for having me on here. It's been quite a while, and but you guys are very special in my heart.
Well, and I think one of the reasons why I like to have you on is because of how that the teaching of New Thought has made a huge difference in your life. You started off learning about this wonderful teaching down in Florida. You were the music director at a center down there. Then you moved to Palm Springs and was music director at another interfaith center. And I heard that you are now attending another Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Springs. So tell us again, kind of in the capsule form, how did you come into New Thought, and how has that shaped your worldview?
Well, I think all my life I've always been a seeker, and I've always known that traditional religious beliefs were not something that resonated with me. I grew up having uncles and my grandfather all be apostolic Pentecostal ministers. And when I know, look at that face.
I thought you were Jewish.
That too. That's on the other side.
Okay.
I didn't discover that until 1989. So
Right.
But when I was a child, that's what happened. We would attend services because of my grandfather that's on my mother's side. The Jewish is on my father's side. We would attend just basically like Christmas and Easter and all, to be respectful. And it was very funny because my mother wore mini skirts and wore makeup, and that's a no-no.
What? In the Pentecostal church?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
I would have loved to have been in one of the side conversations with some of the women.
When we walked in, every head would turn and follow us all the way up the aisle. And so I remember the last time I ever attended, they had me go back in the back to Sunday school. And I remember it was really funny. We were all sitting there, and the teacher looks at me and she says, "Don't you want to go to heaven and be with Jesus?" And I said, "No, I want to stay here with my mom and dad." And guess what? They told me, "Okay, you should leave." And I never went back.
What?
So that's how that part of side of my family.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's the French side, my mother's side. Now, my father's side was German English, and that's where the Judaism comes in. And what's interesting is I didn't even know that existed until 1989 when his father passed. And I wanted to go to the service. I said, let's go. And he said, no. He said he wanted nothing to do with me when I was alive. I want nothing to do with him now. Now, let me add a little piece to that.
Okay.
What's interesting is my grandmother in the 1920s. Now, this was a very liberated woman. She had 4 sons, all by a different man, and she never married any of them.
Wow. That's interesting.
She had a very large farm, and she just wanted children to work the farm, to help her work the farm. So that's how that all came about. And I've got hundreds and hundreds of relatives I've never met, and obviously I never will. And that kind of makes me sad because I would like to have connected with them.
Well, we're your family.
Yes.
Yes. Your family is your family of choice rather than your family of chance. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you escaped the boundaries and the city limits of Akron and went off to Palm.
Well, I actually went to New York.
Well, you went to Well, go ahead. You can
start. Yeah, well, when I was a child, I was always singing and dancing and around the house, and all my relatives kept saying, "You got to put this kid in show business. You got to put this." And there wasn't a lot of, there's not a lot of show business in Akron. But fortunately, I was heard singing by someone who had led a small orchestra in Akron. And that was when I was 5 years old. And I was invited to do a solo with the orchestra. But I knew as a child, I knew then what I was going to do my whole life. I came in with this. This is something I brought in with me from a previous life.
Okay.
Because it was just there. And I cultivated it, but it was already basically formed as a child. I've never had a voice lesson. I've sang with an classical opera company. I've never had a voice. It was just there. When I opened my mouth, it just came out. And so when I was 17 years old, that's when I really turned professional. A friend of mine got so tired of hearing me say I wanted to be in show business that one day they came over and said, "Come on, get in the car." And I said, "Where are we going?" They said, "It doesn't matter. Get in the car." So we got in the car and they took me to Goodyear Musical Theater, which I did not know was an equity professional theater. And so I auditioned. I got a part. And I was with them for several years. I think I did 5 musicals with them. And that was the beginning of that. But at the same time, I was also a competitive artistic skater. So what's funny is because of skating, and I already had this ability of dancing, they would also cast me in dancing roles. And so I thought, you know what, one day they're throwing terminology at me, a glissade assemblée and French terminology and ballet. And I thought, God, you know what? I better take some classes so I know what they're saying, because they're going to find out I'm a fraud.
So is that when you started attending classes up at the University of Akron?
Well, that's when I first started. I started taking at Nan Klinger Dance Studio.
Oh man, is that a blast from the past?
And I went up very quickly. I started very late, but within a year, I was taking classes at America Ballet Theater. I was taking classes at master classes at Juilliard, and I kind of like on TikTok now. I've kind of connected with some of the ballet dancers of the stars of today now, and I've shared with them. Men never have to pay for a class, because they're always looking for men. So I never paid for one. I just got scholarship after scholarship after scholarship.
Okay.
So like I said, I was doing that, and I started having a lot of knee issues and ankle issues. And ballet is beautiful, but it really takes a toll physically on your body. Yeah. And most of my teachers were like walking with canes or crutches, or I mean, it really destroys, especially if you're a male, because you're forcing your body to do something it doesn't want to do. Women's bodies are built open because of being able to childbear. Well, you're trying to force your body to be open, and a man's body is closed. So you're spending years forcing. Well, that's what happens. I mean, it's beautiful, but like I said, it does take a toll on you as you age. So one day they were grooming me to be a premier dancer with the ballet star Vladimir Dolgorovsky from the Bolshoi Ballet. And I just decided I don't want to end up crippled. And so I went in. I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be a singer. Actually, I said I'm going to be a singer.
Okay.
And so I went back to Ohio and started practicing guitar and took piano lessons. And about 6 months into it, I started entering talent contests, trying to get my feet wet in the area. And you remember Palumbo Supper Club? I was there a lot. Tangiers, I appeared at Tangiers. And so I taught myself enough that I felt confident enough that I could start entering talent contests. So the first one I went out for, I tied for first. They flipped a coin. The other person got it. But the second one went out. Now, this is where my intuitiveness starts really kicking in. As I said, I've always been a seeker. I always knew there was something more, but I wasn't sure what it was. And I had a lot of friends who were, I did not know at the time, New Thought, and very out there, And so I said to my mother, I said, you know what? I'm going there tonight. I'm going to win this. Not only am I going to win this, they're going to love me so much, they're going to hire me. Where that came from, I have no idea. I went that night. I won. The next day at 4:00, the band leader called me up, hired me, and I sang with that band for 4 years. That's kind of where I got my basic beginning training of learning how to do what I do now, but expanded to a bigger arena and a bigger level. So that's how that really all started. Then I was doing a show with a cruise ship, and some things happened that put the kibosh on it. And my parents happened to say, we're going to Florida for vacation. You want to go with us? And I thought, well, I have nothing else to do. So they showed me where they were going, and it was like, oh, it's right next to Orlando, Florida. I could check out Orlando, Florida and see what's going on there. So we went down there, and it was in Akron. It was 5 below zero. And we got to Florida.
Oh, that warm?
And in Florida, it was 87 degrees. And I looked at my father and I said, what the H are we doing here? Sell the house. Let's come down here. I said, this is opportunities for me now here in a secondary market. So that's what we did. We went, the house sold, we came down, and I started my life in Florida. But the reason I'm telling you that is because that's when the awakening really started. When The Secret came out. And like I said, I was always aware of manifesting things like that, but never really knew principles and that there was actually a community. Never knew that. So I got a call. I was appearing in nightclubs around town, and I got a call from a lady from Unity of Melbourne. Now, I had no idea what Unity was. So she said, you know what, our soloist has passed. And a voice told me that I should call you and offer you the position. Well, as I said, I didn't know what unity was, and I really wasn't aware of the New Thought community at that time. And I said to her, I said, thank you so much. I said, but I don't really sing that kind of music. And she said, well, we're going to pay you this amount of money. And I said, okay,
I will learn.
I'll sing whatever you want me to sing. Like I said, then when I started, then I figured it out.
Yeah.
And it's what I've been doing my whole life, because I was kind of very involved in a little bit of Buddhism and transcendental meditation, all these things, and I thought, okay, I've created my own philosophy, never knowing that there was actually a philosophy out there of a community. So when it really kicked in was around 2000, and I had a voice start speaking to me. Now, I tell people, of course, it's probably
I'm going to have to.
Huh?
Why don't we leave that for after the break?
Okay.
Because I have to sell some stuff.
All right.
Yes, I know. Great conversation so far this evening with Reverend Dr. Ambassador Prince Fleet Easton, all the way from our studios in Palm Springs, California. And we'll talk to Prince a little bit more here after the break here as I remove the right frame. Good evening. It is the Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Couple of things, and then we will take a brief, and I mean brief break, because I want to come back and talk a little bit more with Prince. But to let you know that yours truly is currently at Summit CSL, Summit Center for Spiritual Living here in Akron. So if you are cordially invited to join us this Sunday and every Sunday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. We always have a great time. You can get more information about the Zoom call on summitcsl.org. This Sunday, we are starting off our beginning of the year series, which is usually the introduction to the Science of Mind textbook, the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. Those four topics will be what we'll be talking about here in the next month. So this Sunday, we'll have Reverend Dr. Carol Ann Drick. She'll be speaking on the thing itself. So join us. We'd love to see you. summitcsl.org. Okay. Quick break. And I mean quick. And then we'll be right back. This is the Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
What if the person you think you are is just a fraction of who you truly are? What if years of conditioning and surviving in a challenging world have left you clinging to strategies and beliefs that mask your truest nature? I'm Catherine Duca, psychotherapist and self-esteem coach, and you're listening to Who Do You Think You Are? A show that looks beneath our psychological masks and uncovers our profoundly messy, beautiful, brilliant, tender-hearted essence. Join me as we go in search of the hidden power of our true selves. I'm so glad you're here.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Along with our special guest this evening, the Reverend Dr. Ambassador Prince Fleet Easton, the Prince of all media, the Prince of Palm Springs, the Prince of the whole world. All right. So you were telling us that you were being guided by voices now.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I had a voice that started speaking to me in 2000, and I wasn't quite sure what that was all about. But I learned very quickly that if I listen to it and follow it, it always leads me to where I'm supposed to go. I want to give a shout out to Wayne Baldwin from Calgary. He's over here. We're doing a lot. He's having some conversation here. I just feel like I need to shout out to him. He's
Yes.
really
From Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Yes.
Wayne Baldwin. Yes.
But
yes, he's also saying something too.
Yeah. What's interesting is this with this speaking voice is that when The Secret came out, of course, I had 5 jobs. I was co-hosting a television show. I was doing reports for NASA radio for the space shuttle launches. I was also singing with an orchestra. I was starring in a theatrical production company, and I was singing with a classical opera company. So I was doing all those things when this all came about. So when the Secret came out, I kind of, like I said, I still didn't kind of quite put it all together, but everybody was talking about it. And I thought, well, I've got to see this. So someone that I had not seen in years showed up in my presence. They were meant to be there. When the teacher is ready or when the student's ready, the teacher will show up.
Right.
So she said to me, have you seen The Secret? And I said, no, but I want to. She said, well, I think this is something you need to experience. So I thought, okay. The next day, I ran into her again in another part of town. Now, like I said, this is somebody I hadn't seen in years and years and years. She said, did you see The Secret yet? I said, no, but I really want to. She said, you better go see it. This went on for 5 days. I ran into them for every day for 5 days. So I thought, okay, the universe is slapping me upside the head saying, okay, you got
to go see it.
You got to pay attention. So I went to Barnes & Noble and purchased it. So I went home, and I knew at that time it takes 21 days to create a habit. Well, I think now they've upped it somewhat, but at that time it was 20. So I watched it every day for 21 days. And then that's when the voice really got powerful. And that's what led me to California. And I will be the first one to say it was part of the responsibility of why I had to come here. I was singing with a 52-piece orchestra, and while on stage, the voice came in and started talking away to me and said, you got to go to Palm Springs, California, because you have to be there to meet the people who are going to take you to the next place in your life and career. I didn't know anybody here. And I thought, okay, oh my God, how do I do this? How do I leave all these jobs, which I'm basically starring in all of them? How do I walk away from this? So I just said, the voice is saying I have to do this. So I quit all my jobs, packed up I had a little geo tracker, packed it up, got in the car, drove 3,000 miles all by myself. Took my time, took me 6 days, but it was, like I said, it was all meant to be. Now, I don't know. Do you know who Robert Schwartz is? Robert Schwartz wrote the book about your soul contract and your purpose. Okay. And I know this is all part of what, like I said, I've always had an intuitiveness of kind of knowing. And this, I knew this was all going to happen. I just didn't know how. And that's we're not supposed to know. Right. It'll show up how it's supposed to, not in our vision. So I came here and I got involved with Unity and I thought I was going to be the soloist there, but that didn't work out. And talk about a voice talking again. I'd met a lady from Canada 6 months later. She called me out from Canada and said, Fleet, there's a spiritual center over at the Camelot Theater, and a voice told me I should call you, and I think that's where you're supposed to be. And I said, well, that's interesting. I never heard of it. And it was New Thought, Ernest Holmes, but it was Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. And so I waited a few weeks, and I went and I sat down in the front row, and right in front of the soloist, which I did not know was leaving the next week. And they had been manifesting a new soloist for 3 months. And I showed up right at the last minute. And after service, he came up to me and said, "Are you a professional singer?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you have a demo?" I said, "Yeah." So I gave him my demo, and the next day I was hired, and I was there for 17 years.
And the name of the minister there was?
Dr. Sharon Stroud.
Yes, and she is so missed.
Yeah, she, her and Michael Beckwith and all, they all came up at the same time.
Yes.
Marion Williams, they were all friends. They were all part of that beginning parts of the movement. So
wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
So like
Dr. Sharon made her transition, and you helped a little bit, and then you took a break, and then you told me that you found a new spiritual home there in Palm Springs.
Yeah. After 17 years of the commitment of every Sunday, I just didn't want to be committed anymore. You know, who wants to be committed?
Well, there are some people that think that I should be committed.
So I took like probably almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years almost off. And then I thought, you know, I really am missing a spiritual community. You know, we can do this on our own, but it's better to have that support system around you.
Absolutely.
And so I showed up one day, and then I showed up the next Sunday, and then I showed up the next Sunday. And now I'm part of the family, and everybody, I love everybody there. I think they love me. It's been a wonderful thing. It's been very transformative for me, because I really didn't feel like I wanted to be committed to anything anymore, you know? And they have, oh my God, the musical director there, Jeff Kingfish. Oh my God, he is incredible.
Yes.
I know I'm good at what I do, but I want to tell you, he takes it further than I ever could imagine taking anything. He is so creative. He has a center now in downtown Palm Springs where he does sound bowls, and he does a lot of really amazing sound work. And I'm in awe of him. He's just amazing. And Reverend Eunice, she's I really love it there, and I look forward to every week attending. And I'm slowly getting involved in other things that they do, you know, being part of the family. I've offered to do specials now and then, and you know, but they every week they go, "You going to join the choir? We'd love for you to join the choir." I said, "No, you're doing just fine without me, and you're doing a beautiful job. I just don't." Maybe somewhere in the future, but at this point right now, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. Plus my career in Hollywood, it takes up a lot of my time. And, you know, I am so blessed to be given a talent, I don't know, a gift, I should say, to do something that I absolutely love so much that I just can't imagine ever doing anything live. I mean, I've done this since I was a little teeny kid, and I've never lost my enthusiasm for what I love. And, you know, and getting back to spirituality, as I was telling you earlier, I'm not a speaking minister, even though I'm an ordained New Thought minister. I am a music minister, and I touch people through my music. And that's how I minister to people.
We are talking again this evening with the Reverend Dr. Ambassador.
And I want to give you credit for helping me doing my first wedding.
I was going to ask you about that. How was that?
Oh my God. She just said the other day, people are still talking about it. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's just, there's something to doing weddings, I think for me is it's not work. It's one of those things, I mean, with when you do the job of minister during the week, I mean, you got bosses and boards and people and all that stuff. And then you get a phone call that says, could you please just do my wedding? And it's like, it's so nice to be able to serve. And I got all kinds of stories about that. I was called in because no other minister would do the ceremony.
Oh, really? Yeah, I do everything. I sang them in. I did the what's the word? I can't think of the word. It's coming. The officiating. Then I sang in the middle of it, and then I did the rest of officiating, and then I sang them out.
Man, I'll tell you what. Did your agent get you a triple fee for that?
They were very generous. They were very.
Oh,
generous.
I bet they were.
They were as I said, they said people are still talking about it, and I think it exceeded their expectation, and it probably exceeded my expectation.
So, if you'd like to get a hold of Reverend Dr. Prince Fleet Easton, please get a hold of me, and I will send the information to him and act as his agent. At least $1,000.
But thank you so much for helping me through that, because the lady had written a beautiful article about me in a magazine, and then she sprung it on me. She says, well, I want you to marry me. It was like, I thought, now I'm obligated. Now I'm obligated to do this, because I just feel, because she did such a beautiful write-up on me. But I'm really happy it happened, because it was an experience that I needed to experience. It was something I was putting off. I'd been asked many times, and I just didn't feel comfortable. And as I said earlier, when you're ready, it will show up. Right. And I was ready, and now I went through the fire, and I know how to do it.
It's a lot of fun. It really, it's almost addicting.
Is it?
When you don't do them for a while, like for example, coming up here, so here in Ohio, the wedding season is usually from May until October.
Okay.
And this year for me, it's just been, I've been working on the prosperity consciousness. So I had probably one of the most busiest Decembers I ever have had. Wonderful. And that again, it's just a lot of fun, because again, I get called in to do weddings in this area. If you are living together, second or third marriage, you have a child out of wedlock, or it's an interracial marriage. Mm-hmm. Some of the ministers won't do it.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing here in the 21st century that's still happening. But again, that since I'm able, I'm licensed in 3 states. So, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm glad you had you put your toe in the water.
Well, it was all because of you.
Well, hopefully you can get more, because it's a lot of fun. And
well, she said she has about a dozen people that are asking.
Yeah. So I wanted to, I didn't want to do any serious story, but I wanted to do one this evening, at least with you.
Okay.
All right. Since you're also from Ohio.
Yes.
Students or schools ban students from using the slang word Ohio. This is from Des Moines, Iowa. An Ohio school allegedly banned its students from using several different slang words, one of them being Ohio. According to the Des Moines Register, the school in Iowa's Fremont Mills Community School District, which is along the Nebraska border, posted a sign in one of its schools that contained a list of words that could disrupt learning or negatively impact peers, that was developed in collaboration with students. More than 24 slang terms were on the banned words list, including chat, Sigma, and Ohio. 10 students had even received detention for using banned words from the list, according to the Des Moines Register. Ohio has become a commonly used slang word used mostly by Generation Alpha. I guess that's what they call the millennials now. When the word Ohio is used as slang, it means strange, weird, cringe, or dumb. And I will use that in a sentence.
I figured it was used as a derogatory.
Man, that's so Ohio.
Yeah.
Man, that is so Ohio. Other schools and teachers have created lists of slang words that they've banned in their classrooms and also hallways. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, the acronym is FIRE, sent a letter to the Iowa School District representing a parent who said that the banned words infringed on the students' First Amendment rights, according to the Des Moines Register. Well, I want to say here on the Friday evening fireside chat, all the way from the great state of Ohio, is yes, we are weird, but it makes us fun.
That is so Iowa.
No, that's so Iowa, man.
That is just grody.
Could you imagine kids going down the hallway and saying, "Oh man, that's so Ohio," and going, "You don't even know what's here." You know, I think great place to live. Yeah, I know it's -3 degrees outside. No, I'm sorry, it's 23 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my God!
And now hold it. No, we even have 6 inches of snow outside.
Well, I've got you beat.
Okay.
We were 80 degrees with lots of sunshine.
You're like all of my friends from California who send me pictures of, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with a white sandy beach.
When I moved to Florida, the night before I moved there, I was in a nightclub. I came out 2:00 in the morning. I had a flat tire. It was 5 below zero. I changed that tire, 5 below zero, and I said, "As God is my witness, I will never be in this again," and never have been. Now we have snow on our mountains. And
right.
We can go up there on a tram and be in the snow if we want. I've never done it. I look up there and go, "Oh, look there's snow." You could
That's really pretty. And you know what? It can stay up there. We are all out of time, sir. Again, It was just a real privilege to have you on. I hope that programming is happy because they wanted me to have and to add some class to the program. So I'm really glad that, and you were on the list of people that they said, you know what, you really need to call Prince Fleet Easton because he will take care of it. So
I have can we have time for a real quick spiritual mind treatment?
Oh, of course.
Okay. All right. Let's all get ready. Are you ready? I wrote one out here. So let's take a deep cleansing breath. Yes. Let's quiet our minds. There is one power, one presence, the infinite spirit of goodness that is everywhere in all. Omnipresent. I am one with this infinite spirit, which expresses in and through me and reminds me in each moment of my divine connection with all of life. I know that divine harmony follows me everywhere, at work, at play, in my life. I express perfect love, perfect peace, perfect power, and perfect joy. And these qualities are reflected back to me in every person I encounter. I am surrounded with reasonable and peaceful people who desire the highest and best good from every situation and every person. I am grateful for the ease resolution of all conflict. I embrace the truth that spirit is all, and I know that in every interaction, each situation, everywhere the infinite spirit resides, I give thanks to the ease in my communication with others and understand their words and actions, knowing that perfect peace and harmony is in the outcome. And so it is. And we need that so much today.
Amen. Thank you. That was really wonderful. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Wonderful spiritual mind treatment.
Thank you. And so it is.
Boy, and so it is. That's right. Now you better watch it, because Reverend Robert may give you a call and say, you know what, that was really good. Would you be on the prayer team? Prince Fleet Easton, thank you again so very much for being on the program. Happy New Year. Happy New You. May this year be again filled with movies and singing opportunities and hit records and all the wonderful things that you do. And tell your fine minister that Michael Mangus from Ohio said hello.
I sure will.
All right. Thank you. Now you now behave in the green room now.
I will.
Enjoy the champagne and now we picked out all the red M&Ms.
Red gummy bears.
Okay. Well, yeah, well, that's in the separate bowl if you take
Okay.
Okay. All right. We are all out of time. Do you believe that? I'll tell you what, an hour goes by quick here on the Positively Inspiring New Thought Media Network. I thought that you would enjoy that. Prince is wonderful. Again, does a lot of good. He didn't mention a lot of his humanitarian work, but I'll tell you again, you would think, around Palm Springs, again, being a place of money, that they would not have need, but they do. And again, that because humans live there. So Prince generously gives of his time, his energy, his money to really to help around and help in the world. All right, time for me to go here. Again, join us this Sunday here at summitcsl.org. There you can join us as we start going through the introduction of the science of mind. And for those of you who have not done so yet, please start your year off right by going to New Thought Media, ntmedia.org/donate, and give, please, a very generous one-time gift. And also consider being a monthly partner. When you partner with us financially, what happens is that you really do affect the world. That through this network, that again, that you are there not to proselytize, but to go ahead and to share this powerful message that has made a difference, not only in my life, but in Prince's life, in Robert's life, in all of our lives. So again, ntmedia.org/donate. All right. On behalf of all of us here at Positively Inspiring New Thought Media Network. Hold it. We have a special message. We have a special message from programming. It says programming is very happy. Programming is not going to be very happy until I just be quiet, because we're coming up on the top of the hour. Thank you again very much. Happy New Year. Happy New You. And we will see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.